In this video, I'm going to be doing a glossy plastic text tutorial in Photoshop. The first thing we want to do is we want to create a new document. So I'm going to go to File, New. Please make sure that your unit of measurement is pixels before you start entering in any numbers. Next, you want to make sure your width is 1024. Your height is 768. Your resolution at 72, your color mode at RGB, and then make sure your background contents is set to white. Once you have these settings in, go ahead and click OK. Next, we're going to select our type tool. You may type anything that you would like in Photoshop, so I'm going to click once. I'm going to go ahead and change my font to Arial, which will be all the way up at the top. Taking a second to find it. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and start to type it in, and it should pop up. There we go. And Arial Black is the font style you want to have. You want to have the size set to 325. It's easier sometimes just to type it in and then hit enter. Now you can type any word you want. If you need to, you can resize your text, but I'm just going to go ahead and type PSD, which stands for Photoshop Document. So right now you notice it's off to the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Move tool, click on my background layer, and then go ahead and hold Shift on the keyboard and select my type layer. Now my alignment tools have popped up. So I'm going to do the vertical centers and then the horizontal center. So now my Photoshop or my PSD text is in the center of my document. After that, we're going to create a new layer by selecting the new button right here. Go ahead and make sure your background layer is selected before you click the new layer button. It is a blank layer. And now we want to fill it in with a white color. So I'm going to go to Edit, Fill, and I want it to be white. And I'm going to click OK. So now you see over here, it is changed to white. And now I'm going to use that same method as before. So my layer 1 selected, I'm going to hold Shift and go and click on my text layer. Now I'm going to go to the layer menu and go all the way down to where it says merge layers, or you can do Control E as a shortcut. And now I have one layer. Now we're going to add a Gaussian blur to the edges of our text just to kind of make it nice and blurred, not so straight edge. So you want to make sure that you have your text layer selected. And then we're going to go to the filter menu, down to blur, over to Gaussian blur. And you want to change the radius to 8. Now you kind of see it looks like it's blurred, like if you needed glasses. So I'm going to click OK. Now on that same layer, so our PSD or whatever text layer you had, we're going to adjust our level. So go to the Image, then down to Adjustments and over to Levels. Here we're going to just go ahead and type in a couple of settings. So on the input on the left, I'm going to type in 148. And then over here to the right, the very last one where it says 255, I'm going to type in 165. So you see our edges are not quite as blurry, they're a little bit more sharp now. So now I'm going to click OK. Now we're going to select our letters. So go ahead and grab your magic wand tool, which is underneath your quick select tool. I'm going to click my first letter, the P, and now I'm going to hold shift, and you'll notice my magic wand tool gets a little plus sign. So now with holding shift, I'm going to click on the S, and still with shift being held down, I'm going to click on the D, and now my letters are selected. You want to go ahead and create a new layer. This is very important, so make sure you create a new layer before you do anything else. Now that selection is still active. Go ahead and grab your paint bucket tool, and then you can come over here to your swatches. If you need to, it might say color. Go ahead and click on the tab that says swatches. It's going to be that last gray box. It says 50% gray, so I'm going to click on that. You should notice that your foreground color now is that gray. My paint bucket tool is selected. I'm going to come over here and click on the P, and it should fill in your whole word, but make sure again you had that new layer. If you did not have your new layer, go back and redo this step. Now to get rid of that selection, go to Control D, and you should see that selection now go away. We no longer need the original PSD layer. So now I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So you can right click on that layer and hit delete, or you can simply hit the trash can down here in the bottom corner. And it's going to ask you if you want to delete. Yes. So now you should only have your background layer and your new layer 1 with the gray PSD or whatever word you have. So now we're going to unlock our background layer. So you're going to double click the layer, click OK, and now we're going to double click on where it says layer 0. You need to click on the word so we can rename it to gradient BG for background. And now we're going to open up our layer style. So again, I'm going to right click on the gradient BG, open up my blending options, and we're going to add a gradient overlay. So I'm going to check off gradient overlay and go ahead and click on the actual word gradient overlay so you're able to change the settings. Going to change the style to radial, and now I want to change the color. So I'm going to double click on this bar to open up my gradient editor. So to change the colors, I'm going to double click this bottom left box, and now I'm going to enter in over here to the right where it says R, I'm going to type in 23. For the G, we're going to type in 88. For the B, we're going to type in 143 and click OK. Similar, we're going to double click on the white one on the right. We're going to put in for the R 129, for the G 197, and for the B we're going to do 255 and click OK. That should be correct now. So go ahead and click OK. And we're also going to change the blend mode up at the top to multiply. Everything else you can leave the same. And then we're also going to add a glow with this as well. So go ahead and select your inner glow by checking it off, and then click the word inner glow to get your dialog box. So now I'm going to change the blend mode to multiply. I'm going to change the opacity to 76. I'm going to change this color from a yellow. So we're going to change the R to 16, the G to 70, and the B to 115. Should have a dark blue. Click OK. Softer is good. Edge is good. You want to go down to where it says size, and we're going to change that to 199. And then everything else is good. So then go ahead and click OK when you're done. Now we're going to click on our layer 1. Go ahead and open up the blending options by right-clicking on the layer. And we're going to change our fill opacity right down here to 0. It will disappear, that's okay. And then next you want to check off your bevel and emboss and your contour. So again, the fill opacity you're going to take down to 0, and then you're going to check off the bevel and emboss and the contour boxes. After that, you are all done. So go ahead and click OK. And we're going to first save it as a Photoshop file. So I'm going to go to File, Save. I'm going to call this Glossy Text. It is a Photoshop file. So I'm going to click Save. Click OK. And now I'm going to save it as a JPEG so I can turn it in. So File, Save As. It still says glossy text. The only thing is I'm going to change the format to my first JPEG option. And then I'm going to click Save. Click OK. And you are all set. Thank you so much for watching.